moved it. No, Drew?
Everybody ready? Everybody ready? Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting of the Horn Lake Board of Aldermen to order. And it is so nice to be back in here. It is so nice with all these renovations. I hope you enjoy them and it makes the meetings more enjoyable for you. This is first class for the citizens of Horn Lake. At this moment, I would like to call on the Reverend Robert Long of the New Bethlehem Presbyterian Church. It's quite an honor for us to have Reverend Long here to give our first invocation of the new year. Reverend Long is also the curator of the DeSoto County Museum and a staunch advocate and supporter of the city of Horn Lake and all of DeSoto County. At this time, Reverend, if you would be kind enough to give us the invocation.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this season of expectancy, of a promise fulfilled that the Savior came into the world to alleviate suffering, to usher in peace, to give us hope in a world that is faced with hopelessness, often despair. Lord, as we begin this new year, we ask a special blessing on each individual here. Each one has a servant's heart, modeled after you, serving in the capacity of fulfilling the needs of their community. Lord, we thank you for all the blessings of this past year, even the challenges that help us rise to the occasion to be better people, to be better public servants. Lord, as we go through this next year, we don't know what the future holds, but we can take solace that you do, and that this world, our community, is in your good and capable hands. Guide us and direct us, Lord, as we go about our public duties, our private and personal struggles. Help us, Lord, to be your children. Help us to be a light that shines forth in the world. And we ask all of this in your holy and precious name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Reverend. For those of you who may not know, New Bethlehem Church is one of the oldest churches in DeSoto County, established in the 1840s, Reverend?
Established in 1849.
1849. They have a beautiful church, a beautiful cemetery. They take excellent care of our citizens who've been laid to rest there. And we thank you, Reverend, for that blessing and for being in attendance tonight. At this time, please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States, led by Alderman David Young. Thank you, sir. I don't know who fixed the flags like this, but they look great.
Good on you, Jim.
Roll call, please, Mr. Jim.
Alderman Klein.
Here.
Alderman Bledsoe. Here. Alderman Geis.
Here.
Alderman Bostic.
Here.
Alderman Johnson.
Here.
Alderman Dupree.
Here.
Alderman Young.
We have a quorum, ladies and gentlemen. All right, the first item on the municipal docket is the vote on the municipal docket. We have a motion, please.
Mayor,
Alderman Geis.
make a motion to approve the municipal docket.
We have a motion by Alderman Geis. Do we have a second? Second by Alderman Bledsoe. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Klein.
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe. Alderman Geis.
Aye.
Alderman Bostic.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Dupree.
Aye.
Alderman Young.
Motion carries 7 in favor, none opposed. Number 2 on the agenda is the consent agenda. Do we have a motion?
Mayor,
Alderman Bostic.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda items A through Y with the exception of moving letter H to executive session.
We have a motion by Alderman Bostic. Do we have any objection to moving letter H to executive session? All right. All right, Mr. Bailey, what do I do parliamentary-wise here?
Mr. Mayor, a motion's been made but not seconded yet, so
All right, do we have a second to Alderman Bostic's motion?
Second.
Second by Alderman Geis. Any discussion? Alderman Young. Is there any more discussion? All right, we're going to be voting on Alderman Bostic's motion. Roll call, please.
Alderman Young. Alderman Dupree. Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Bostic.
Aye.
Alderman Geis.
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe.
aye.
Alderman Klein.
Aye. Motion carries 6 in favor, 1 opposed. All right, moving on. Number 3 on your agenda is the claims docket. Do we have a motion?
Mayor,
Alderman Geis.
I make a motion to approve the claims docket, general fund, $383,817.73. The library fund, $11,687.50. The economic development fund, $48,032.62. The utility fund, $164,946.85, for a total docket of $608,484.70.
We have a motion by Alderman Geis. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Young. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Klein.
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe.
Aye.
Alderman Geis.
Aye.
Alderman Bostic.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Dupree. Alderman Young.
Aye.
Alderman Dupree, was that a yay? Yes, sir. All right, thank you, sir. Motion carries 6 in favor, 1 opposed. All right, number 4 on your agenda, ladies and gentlemen, is special guests and presentations. Is Ms. Carter present?
She is.
Ms. Carter, would you come forward, please? Ms. Carter has graciously consented to be a member of the Planning Commission for the City of Horn Lake in Ward 4, Ward of Alderman Young. We really appreciate people who serve on this commission because there is no pay associated with this.
Mr. Mayor, before you swear her in, I think it's appropriate for the board to consider a motion to confirm her appointment to the Planning Commission.
All right, thank you, sir. Do we have a motion?
Mayor,
Alderman Young.
make a motion to confirm Mr. Kirby Carter to the Planning Commission for Ward 4.
We have a motion by Alderman Young. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Bledsoe. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Klein.
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe. Alderman Geis.
Aye.
Alderman Bostic.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Dupree.
Aye.
Alderman Young.
Aye.
Motion carries 7 in favor, none opposed. Hello, Ms. Carter. Thank you for doing this. Would you raise your right hand, please? I, Kirby Carter, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Mississippi, and obey As many of you know, Ms. Carter has been very active in supporting the whole city, but especially the school system. Certainly appreciate you being willing to serve, Ms. Carter. All right, letter B, Mr. Jim Taylor. Mr. Taylor? Mr. Taylor is not here. All right. All right, moving on down to planning. Mr. Andrew, do you have anything for the board tonight?
Not for this meeting.
Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Andrew? All right. We're down on number 6. New business, letter A, discussion of new animal shelter project. Who is that? Anybody?
Animal Shelter Project? Is that you? Did you put it on the agenda?
Okay, but anybody have any comments?
On animal shelter.
Yes, sir.
I didn't do that. We received a $35,000 bill without the completion of the project that was supposed to be performed. Is that a normal practice? Does that even happen when we're remodeling here? It's just a question because I'm concerned about that.
We received a bill for,
$35,182.94 for some plans for the plans for the animal shelter, in which that we have not received, but we're being billed for it. Is that common practice? I just need to know.
Mr. Jim, have we received those plans yet?
We have a rough draft set, but I mean, the final construction documents they're still working on. So we haven't got the full construction documents yet.
The alderman's question was, is that normal procedure in this?
Well, I'm not an expert in this. I have been involved in several different projects, and I mean, typically we get billed afterwards. After we go through and complete phases, like you all just approved the street project for Gibson. They completed that phase, so they submitted $1.4 million for that. They have submitted a draft set, but we're still working, going back and forth. I mean, I was just emailing with shelter planners all the way up till about 5 o'clock today on door hardware, and we still have an issue that we're trying to work out with the parking area that goes in between the two buildings and how we're going to tie those together and everything. So the final bid documents, to answer your question, are not complete because we're still working out some of the fine details. Mr. Glenn had sent them some detail on where receptacles are to go. Mr. Daniel had sent them a mock-up of where all data lines were supposed to go, and potential door access. So they still have to come back with that in the plan. So we're trying to fine-tune it.
Mr. Mayor,
Alderman Dupree.
so when we're renovating City Hall, did they send us a bill for any plans that they did not complete before we paid them?
No, they would complete a phase, and we'd get the bid documents, and then we'd receive a bill a couple weeks after that. So we're not quite to the bid documents or the construction plans, what I'm saying. But when we did this, yeah, they did the construction documents that were to go out to bid, and then we did get a bill for that.
Okay, so normal practice, you don't pay somebody to do the job until it's complete. just like City Hall?
Yeah, and state statute actually states too that we're not supposed to pay, like if we go out, and we've kind of changed our practices with Amazon, and just as an example, if an individual orders on Amazon, you order it, pay for it, and then it is shipped. Well, we've got it set up now where we are billed by Amazon because we can't pay them before we receive the product in hand by state statute. So that's just a small example of how we try to abide by state statute and pay for things after we receive the goods or services.
Right, so if we're gonna be out of compliance with the law, why are we even considering paying this?
Well, this is not on the docket.
It will be next week, though.
Yeah, we received it after the board meeting went out, so this has not come before you all, but we received it, I guess, last Friday, after everything had been presented, so.
I was wondering because I didn't have it on my document. So what you're expressing is a concern that we shouldn't pay this until we get the,
Just like anything else, man. Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, I don't have the City Hall architect contract pulled up, but I do have the one for the animal shelter. And the way that is done is that they get a certain percentage of their fee after each phase is completed or during the phase. And they have completed the schematic design phase and the design development phase, so they are due 40% of their fee, 20% for each of those phases. As Mr. Robinson said, they're in the construction documents phase now, and once that is completed, they'll get 35. They're due 35% of their fee after that. So they are due some money under their contract based upon the 2 phases that have already been completed.
Okay, so we will not be out of compliance if we pay this?
Well, I don't know exactly which bill you're speaking of there or what it's for. I'm just suggesting that they've completed a couple of phases already, so they're due 40% of their $400,000 fee, which would be what, $160,000 plus the reimbursable amount.
Okay, thank you.
thank you, sir. All right,
Mayor,
Alderman Geis.
while we're on the subject of the animal shelter, I was wanting to make a motion for us to approve the designs that were presented to us last week. My understanding is there was some questions about what was presented last week being on the recording for the public to see, and that we hadn't actually approved that design. So I didn't know we had to do that, but I want to make a motion to approve the design that was presented last week, the last board meeting.
We have a motion by Alderman Geis. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Bostic. Is there any discussion? Alderman Dupree.
In those designs, I believe, talking to Chief Linville, there would have to be, sorry. So Chief Linville has some concerns about the sprinkling system. There would have to be 3 different pipes, the dry and then the wet. Can I ask the chief to explain that for us?
Yes, sir. Chief Linville?
They've asked me questions about it from the architect, but it depends on how, it's almost like 2 separate buildings with where the truck's parking. So we were trying to go through, and that was what me and Mr. Robertson had spoke about earlier, if we could put a total metal awning between the 2, then there wouldn't be any requirements to sprinkle the metal building the truck's parking under, like the canopy. If it could be somewhat, and then make it a little separate, so they don't have to run the sprinkler system through an attic that could freeze. It would be best that they may just do a riser on one side, do another riser in the other building, and that way everything kind of comes up in the building, but it's not it would be two systems, but a wet system's a lot cheaper to maintain than trying to maintain dry systems. So that's what we was talking about, but that's been a little bit with the architect, and he showed Jim a couple of drawings right before the meeting, but I didn't, it depends on how that's designed and laid out at the end of the day, what the board wants to do there. But if we tie the two buildings together, and it all runs together, then it's all under one system. But they'll have to do some of it dry, some of it wet, and that's really gonna get, I guess, costly in maintaining. Not so much as putting it in as it will be to maintain it from now on, as far as keeping it all checked and dry. Because if it gets wet and it freezes, it's gonna be a mess.
Thank you, sir. Alderman Geis.
Robbie, the motion I'm making is not for my motion I'm making is not for us to approve the final construction documents, which includes all that.
Okay.
Just the exterior design of the building.
Okay, thank you for clarification.
Because that was, in one of the meetings, Chief Linville mentioned that a while back, that he preferred the metal in that area because of
I remember that.
the fire stuff and all that, so they're still trying to fine tune that.
Okay, thank you.
So Alderman, you're asking the board to approve the elevation, just the outside of the building?
Yes, sir. So we can get that video back on the YouTube so people can see what the building's gonna look like.
I didn't know you were gonna bring this up tonight, or we would have had it on the agenda and maybe had some information out for people.
Well, I saw the shelter already on there.
Uh-huh.
When I was looking at the YouTube video of our last meeting, and you get into the animal shelter part, all of a sudden part of it's blurred out. So I called and inquired about why that was, and I was advised it was because there was an objection to that being out there if we hadn't voted on the way the building was going to look. So that's why I'm making the motion.
All right, so now, okay. Is there any more discussion? Alderman Young.
Yeah, that was me that had the objection to it. It should not be out there yet. We haven't approved the design phase. We haven't approved anything. That's nothing more than a PR move. I don't feel that we should be doing that. I'm sure the good old boy club down there will vote to do it anyway, but I don't feel it should be out there. We're leading the citizens down the path that they don't need to go down. It's funny, Alderman Bostic, it is. It's a shambles. We're billing $35,000 for something we hadn't even got yet. It's been a complete shambles. They're shoving it down the throats of the people of the city of Horn Lake, and now they're trying to do a PR move. I'm only one vote, but it's absolutely a shame that this city's being run by a good old boys club. Thank you, sir.
Do we have any more comments? Alderman Bostic.
I didn't hear that last comment. This city's being ran on what?
Good old boys club down there on that end.
Let's keep it all civil, please. Let's keep it all civil. Everybody up here is working for the good of the city and the citizens. Let's keep the remarks civil and proper. We do represent the city of Horn Lake while we're sitting up here, and we represent the citizens of Horn Lake while we're sitting up here.
Mr. Mayor,
Did you have your hand up? Because you're not a board member. Hold on just a minute. Alderman Dupree.
maybe I can get some clarification before I make a vote. I don't understand all this PR stuff, but I need to know what, between the two of y'all, what is necessary to have in place before we put it on YouTube? I don't know. Could you
Alderman
explain that to
Geis.
me? Because I don't know anything about this type of building.
I just have an opinion on it. We had a public meeting which the public watched, and watched live on YouTube, and now they're going to look at a video that part of it is blurred out. You know, it's already out there. The public has seen it, and yes, it is a public relations thing. We're all up here working to build a shelter for the citizens of Horn Lake, and I think they have a right to know what we're proposing that we build. I'm of a different opinion. We're a long way into this process. We have a design, at least on my part. We've had multiple votes on this that have proceeded through each phase, so, you know, we do have something here that we've already voted on, and we're going to continue to vote on one way or the other. But, you know, I had people contact me, wanted to look at it. I told them, look on the YouTube video, and when they go there, it's blurred out. So I'm just making a motion, a simple motion that is the design of the outside of the building, that video, so people can see it. That's it.
I'm a little bit confused. Is the whole thing, because, you know, I don't do YouTube and stuff, or social media. So is the whole thing blurred out, or just the section that Chief Libel has concerns about?
The whole thing?
The whole thing?
Yes, sir.
Alderman Young.
Yeah, he's right, it's a PR thing, public relations. We haven't approved this thing. We haven't brought it to a vote, and I'm, like I said, I'm sure it'll be shoved down the throat, but, I do not believe we should be leading them down this primrose path. I've been a very strong advocate against spending $6 million, putting this city in $13 million worth of debt. That's going to cost us $1.7 million a year, for 30 years and beyond. I don't think it should be put on there. It is not what this board has approved, whether they approve it yes or no. It is a rendition, a cartoon rendition of what we're looking at. And we've just identified tonight $35,000 just billed to us for something we don't even have yet. It's just not good business. I know we're trying to get people to say, yeah, let's do this. And you know, the public, Mr. Geis, would probably be excited about this thing if it was a $3 million animal shelter over what we have today. So it's been a primrose path since day one. And yes, I did vote for it, but common sense has to prevail. And I just don't think that's good business. To put that video out there and say, oh, look what you're getting. We hadn't approved that.
Alderman Johnson.
Mayor, I am of the opinion that our meetings, that the public views, is a part of what the public should see. And so if the video was played in our meeting in the public, it was not played in executive session. It was played and viewed by the public for those who are here. It should be available to those on the internet as well.
Anyone else? Alderman Geis.
When we vote on this in a minute, we will have voted on the way this building's going to look. So that's what I'm trying to do. Each one of these meetings, this gets brought up again. We all understand you don't want to do this particular project. You think it's too much, you've changed your mind on it, and that's your right in your prerogative, and that's your job. The rest of us that have voted for it have, and so I think every time you've made a motion that we voted against, or we've approved payments to this, when we approved this contract, we have made progress toward this particular project. So you've made arguments against it, saying things about it, and I presented, and I requested SPOA present what we have done so far. So that's for the public to see. None of this is an executive session, so that's just my opinion on it.
Thank you, sir. I want to ask Mr. Hawkinsmith something, since you're the planning director. If the board votes tonight in favor of this motion, would that be considered a site plan?
So this is exactly the question I was going to ask. If this would have any effect on what the planning commission sees, because technically every decision on the exterior of a building or new construction of any building in the city has to go through the planning commission, and it has to be submitted through a site plan. And I just want some clarification. If this is passed tonight, does this mean that the planning commission no longer has the authority to do their full job?
All right, Mr. Billy.
Mr. Mayor, this project could still go through a site plan before the planning commission. What was presented at the last board meeting was just a conceptual of that project. So there were no dimensions or layouts or anything like that, which the planning commission would ultimately look at the site plan phase.
So,
Mayor.
was that you? Yes. All right, Mr. Jim, go ahead.
Just a suggestion, and I don't, again, have a vote in this, but if it can be done, I was asking Daniel, there's a lot of ways with technology, but if it can be done to put on the screen at that time proposed or conceptual drawing to pop up there during that time, it would show that this is a proposed plan. So it would plainly be seen, hopefully by the public, and it wouldn't lead them to think that this was approved. We could put proposed or conceptual drawing or something like that, I hope, if technology will allow us. That's just a suggestion.
Alderman Guy, since you made the motion, would you have any objection to use proposed or
No, sir.
conceptual?
No, sir, absolutely not.
What he needed to withdraw was the first motion, or just make the,
We can include it, Mr. Mayor.
all right. So the motion is for proposed appearance of the animal shelter, conceptual drawing. Your motion still stands, Alderman? Yes, sir. Alderman Bostic, your second still stand? Yes, sir. Any more discussion? Alderman Dupree.
In that heading, can it be put in there, I just had the word, subject to change? I know what proposed means, but it just sounds better, subject to change, in my opinion.
Alderman Bostic. All right, we have the motion, and we have the second. Is there any more discussion? Roll call, please.
Aye.
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 Nay.
Motion carries 6 in favor, 1 opposed. Letter B, do we have a motion?
Mayor,
Alderman Geis.
make a motion to approve change order number 3 payable to Murphy and Sons totaling $6,335.55 for City Hall renovation project.
We have a motion by Alderman Geis. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Klein. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Aye.
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 Was that an aye? Alderman Dupree?
Aye, yes.
Motion carries 7 in favor, none opposed.
Mayor.
All right. Alderman Young.
One thing that was left off the new business section, which should have been C, was your approval to signed the contract for the rodeo. We need to get that approval, sir.
All right,
It's in the packet, but it was not on the agenda.
thank you, sir. Do we have a motion?
That's my motion, sir.
Motion by Alderman Young, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Dupree, is there any discussion? Alderman Bledsoe.
Went to 27, right, but we're getting a parade and we're getting a, oh, Lord, something on Saturday, chuck wagon cook. A chuck wagon, it'll bring more people into the rodeo. Right, we didn't do those last time, we talked about it, we thought we'd do that, so we did it. It's at two,
The only thing about the parade, we have a lot of parades, and our police department getting more out.
well, at least we're not throwing beads from a balcony. Ma'am? Oh, it's back.
Any more discussion or questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Klein.
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe.
Aye.
Alderman Guy.
Aye.
Alderman Bostick.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Dupree.
Aye.
Alderman Young.
Aye.
Motion carries 7 in favor, none opposed. Thank you for reminding us, Alderman Young.
No, sir, you're welcome.
All right, number 7, citizens' remarks. Do we have any? All right. Mayor Alderman correspondence. First off, I'd like to wish everyone a happy new year, safe, happy new year. Hope you had a blessed Christmas and experienced it with its true meaning. Secondly, they have poured the slab out in front of City Hall. In my understanding, they will pour it tomorrow over at Latimer Lakes Parks for the new LED signs. Hopefully, the sign will be installed over here in City Hall tomorrow and the one over at the park by the weekend. That are their plans. But want to thank everybody for supporting that and for Ms. AJ for all the work she did to get that done. That's all I have. Alderman Young, do you have anything, sir?
Just thank everybody. Actually, the fireworks this year were very, very contained around my house. We had a couple of things going on, but everybody was really understanding, and it appeared that people were very more responsible. I saw less trash on the road than we have in the past. People seem to be doing it. Had a couple things with some vendors, but we'll deal with that through code. Other than that, just everybody, let's just have a great year. Brother Long, thank you for your blessing of the board and city tonight. Thank you very much. That's all I got, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Alderman Dupree, you have anything?
Yes, sir, I just want to say, thank you to all the departments and department heads. I've seen, the police department out doing their job this weekend. They did a great job on that. Thanks to, Chief Limble and his folks, putting out the 7 or 8 fires that we had caused by the fireworks. The parks look great, and, I just want to commend everybody and tell everybody, have a safe new year.
Thank you, sir. Alderman Johnson, you have anything, ma'am?
Happy New Year, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. Alderman Bostick, you have anything, sir? Alderman Geis, you have anything? Alderman Bledsoe.
Well, Happy New Year, and it's glad to be back. It's been a rough December.
We're glad to have you back. I know you've had some illness, and your father-in-law and your wife. I hope everyone is recuperating, sir. Yes, sir. Alderman Klein, you have anything, sir?
Just want to wish everybody a Happy New Year's.
Thank you, sir. Chief Pullen, did you have anything for the board?
No, sir.
Anyone have any questions for Chief Pullen? Alderman Bledsoe.
I just want to thank you. I've seen a lot more patrols in my ward over there, lately, and, it's helped out
He
quite a
didn't
bit.
raise his
I
hand.
don't hear those
What I call
hot
him.
rods going so much anymore. Thank you.
Mayor,
Alderman Klein.
I'd like to ask the chief a couple of things that you've accomplished this year. And by the way, other department heads, I'm going to be asking that same question for y'all. Maybe 2 things that you know.
Well, you put me on the spot. So, right off, I can say I'm very proud of, we're starting to put a dent in our hiring. We're definitely making progress there. Retention, I will say, without saying too much, who you've seen on the agenda for resignations has been, we'll hire and keep the best of the best. I'll say that, and nothing against anyone who's left, but I'm very proud of where we're at with hiring and who has stayed and is staying, and because this is a tough job. And then other accomplishments, I will say we're doing a lot better with our social media and getting out. Lieutenant Grayson has taken that over, so it's helped us in recruiting and hiring. So that was our focus early on, and we're exploring other options with what's going to help us with hiring, and we're definitely making some headway there. So with seeing more presence and more officers, that's due to our surge in hiring and recruiting and just strictly focusing on that. And because I've said it from the beginning that our goal is the crime that doesn't occur. It's not that we have to go back and solve. It's that we're deterring crime, and that's done by presence. So we're definitely making headway, and I'm extremely proud of where we're headed and what we've done.
Thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir.
I want to thank you, Chief, and the members of your department for getting out there among the public more. I think that's really contributed to gaining trust and admiration for our police officers. I know the fire department, all the other departments do it, and really thank you. Now that you're getting enough personnel to do that, I thank you for reaching out like you did, and what's an outstanding rendition of The Night Before Christmas. Mr. Box, you have anything for the board?
I don't, Mayor. Just a Happy New Year to everyone.
Anyone have any questions or comments? Alderman Klein.
I asked the same question with you, Mr. Bach. Got a couple of good things that y'all have accomplished this year?
Yeah, the new asphalt paving machine that we got has really done, to me, a spectacular job. The guys that are using that now, we're no longer just shoveling cold mix into a hole. I mean, they're actually prepping some stuff and putting the stuff down like it's supposed to be and sealing it. And I've gone back and checked some of these things that they've done, and they seem to be holding up real well with this. So it's impressive to have that machine. I thank y'all for voting for allowing me to get that machine. I got some. We need to do some more hiring in my department a little bit, but I got a good group of guys that seem to be getting along real well, and so that's always a positive thing.
And you still have that jetter coming, right?
I do have the jetter coming. It's supposed to be, I think they're building it in February, so I'm hoping to get that thing soon, because we had a little issue with two of our machines this morning, just didn't want to crank up and work for us. We had to do a little working on them to get them rolling this morning, but that thing is well needed. I'll be glad when it gets here.
Alderman Dupree.
Mr. Box, thank you for your service to our city. You've done a great job this past year. I mean, anything that needed to be done, you've done it. I mean, we couldn't ask for a better director. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Also, there's some gutters that need to be cleared all through Twin Lakes.
Mm-hmm.
Just take a look at that.
Sure will.
Good evening, Chief Linville.
Good afternoon.
Late
So
afternoon.
what's your question? I don't have anything. Yeah. I guess on the fire department side, I mean, we run a lot more calls. We looked at that this morning. So it's about 35, a little over, almost 3,600 calls an ambulance have run this year, 23. And a little over about 1,500, almost 1,500 with the fire. So our fire calls are down a little bit from last year, but our ambulance calls are way up from last year. But we have been running 3 ambulances, and we do make a lot more mutual aid in the county now and South Haven. Not as much to us as we give back. So I think that's been a good thing for the fire department. And My staff is great. We got a good bunch. They did have a lot of fires. They didn't sleep New Year's Eve, I will tell you. They started about 7 o'clock, and by midnight, they done went to about 7 yards and put them out. And then we had a house fire at 2 o'clock. But it was a vacant house, nobody was hurt, so that was a good thing for the outcome of that. And then we do have the truck ready to go in service. We're looking to promote for lieutenants, drivers, and all that. We're working on that. And have a couple more people we're supposed to interview this week. So we may be back to hire a couple more, and then hopefully by April I can get the 6 hired to run this truck. But I do want to go ahead and promote between now and then for the lieutenant and the driver to assign to the truck, and hopefully get started running it in the next 2 months.
Alderman Bledsoe.
One thing, during the fireworks situation, maybe we put out a flyer that water your yard before you shoot the fireworks.
Well, this year was really dry, it was windy, so it was just a perfect night for the fires. If you check with Olive Branch, they'll tell you. So it was just a perfect setting for a grass fire to occur. And then normally it's not that bad, but it just that way for this. And then also on social, when you speak of that, I do have Chief Mueller has took that on Facebook, and he's been posting a lot of stuff. If you follow us on Facebook, he's been putting a lot of safety tips out. He put a lot of stuff out trying to get people to check their smoke detectors. We are trying, and I've started that back in October, but the state still has not sent me the smoke detectors. They did get a grant, but they don't have them in yet. They're on order. But as soon as we get the smoke detectors, we'll put that on our Facebook page. If anybody needs one, they'll contact us. We'll come and put them in. But we beg people to make sure they have one working now. If they can't get one by no other way, if they'll reach out to the fire department, we have help by getting some from other agencies, if we could, just to get them through.
That's a good one for you.
Well, they got a grant, but they hadn't got the smoke detectors in yet.
Slow operation.
Right.
Mr. Coleman is ill this evening. We hope he gets better quickly. Good evening, Mr. Malavasi. Do you have anything for the board, sir?
Do not tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
Anyone have, Alderman Geis?
Just 2 things. I saw the information on that sidewalk grant. I want you to, if you can, look at I know at one point we considered putting some sidewalks in between Kroger and that subdivision right behind it on Horn Lake Road. And I've been contacted by the public a few times wanting to know if we could ever get one there. I don't know what the plans are in that money, but.
Well, yeah, the plans on that are to start design here ASAP. We just got, I guess, the final paperwork documentation done from MDOT, so we will start design on that. And, everything goes well, probably have that thing in construction hopefully by the end of summer.
Yes, sir. And then the second thing is on the future road maintenance plans, if you could look at some of the streets in Holly Hills, particularly deeper in there, they're starting to fall apart in some locations. I don't recall if we have any for future consideration or not, but.
Yeah. You're saying that there's some that are in Holly Hills area? Yes. Not on Holly Hills Road?
Not on the road itself, but in the subdivision.
Gotcha.
Toward the back in particular, they're starting to crumble apart.
It's in the plan. I can't tell you exactly what date right now, but I can shoot you a map that will show you that.
Okay. Alderman Klein.
So, the map that's the map that's on the internet in our internet, does it not show all the streets that are in there, or is this just phase 1 that's on that map? Where if Alderman Geis wanted to go in there and look, he could see what streets are in there.
I would have to check to make absolutely sure, Alderman Klein, but I'm almost certain it has the ones we've done and the one we're gonna do this year on there. But that was done last year, and that is subject to change also, but, so you just have to take that with a grain of salt until we confirm it, which will be another month or two.
Better follow up then. Yes, sir. So, when will phase two, be initiated?
Phase, okay, year two, we're in design now, and we're looking to have kind of the same, schedule as we had last year as far as construction projects. We'll try to start the first one, early, summer, and then have the next one a month or two afterwards, and finish it by the end of the year.
Thank you, sir.
Alderman Bostick.
Hey, Vince, where we at in our conversations and phases on the Nell Road Extended and Interstate Boulevard lighting? Street lights.
Street lights.
You had a meeting with them.
Oh, yes, we did.
Mr.
And,
Box did.
Me and Stephen had a meeting with them. It's been, gosh, probably a little over a month ago now. And what came out of that meeting was we asked them to provide us with some cost estimates that would give us not only just a cost estimate, but also some alternates to look at as far as how to light it. Where to put the lights, whether it be in the median or outside on the edge of the streets, and where to put those lights, and also the type of lights. We wanted LED, number one, and also we wanted to be somewhat decorative, not just a standard, metal pole. So I haven't heard anything back since that meeting. I think Stephen may have heard something back, but what they did, I think they sent us an estimate, but it didn't give us any options. Is that correct, Stephen?
Yeah, they did send us, they sent us the first option, the more decorative option of street lighting with a cost estimate per month. But they haven't brought the second one in here. I asked for the alternate option as well, and that hasn't come yet. So I wasn't going to, when that came in, I was going to present all of it to you at one time. So you can look at it all.
Do you have a time and they may be getting back with you so we can?
I need to, since everybody's kind of been on holiday, so I'll make contact with them again and see what we're doing on
If you
getting
just
that.
follow up with me, I appreciate it. Thank
I
you
will.
very much.
Mayor?
Mr. Robinson.
Yeah, I was just going to speak to that also, and this is real preliminary. Mr. Stephen and I met with another organization that has, I started talking to them about 2 years ago, and they've really gained some footage with municipalities to where they have a proposal that could potentially save us $100,000 to $175,000 a year by coming in, and they set up a program to change out all of your lights to LEDs throughout the whole city that aren't already LEDs, and put it on get it set up to where it's a pay only for service, what it costs to power those lights. Because right now, when we get lights put in, we pretty much pay for those light poles and everything forever. And they've gone around throughout the state, and actually they're doing the majority of Nashville, the city of Nashville right now. They just completed Sanatobia and Tupelo. They were working with Vicksburg on that, and that kind of has stalled. But we hope to come back before you. Stephen and I were looking at a few things, but we hope to come back before the board. They are working on putting a proposal and coming before the board also. And also with using this company, you get more on a fast track of getting things done quicker. They can come in and you contract with them, and they can get a crew in here and get right on it and get them replaced. So we're hoping to bring that before the board once we kind of feel some things out. Stephen wanted to check on a few things, but we hope to bring that before you all to where we can get on a fast track to change every street light, in the, not traffic lights, but street lights, in all the communities, and even work towards getting more lights put in the communities, all LEDs, at a much cheaper rate, for the city, and actually save us. They showed us how they worked with Sanitobia, and we're almost the same on how much we pay for our cost for lighting and the electricity. And Sanitobia went from, I think, 250,000 that they pay per year to about 51,000 per year. Once they, and they just completed this program. So we hope to bring that before you, and it will save our tax dollars and also get things done more quickly in the street lights.
Alderman.
I appreciate that, Jim, very much. I know I've been working on this for about 4 years now. And I started with one conversation, now I went to 2, now I went to 3 and 4, and I'm kind of excited about it. So hopefully when they get on the bypass over there and that road extended, it'll all be lit up and they'll be able to go to the gas station, go to the hotels, and hopefully one day go down to the Lander Center. So I appreciate that very much.
Alderman Bledsoe.
Is that a guarantee they're gonna save us money?
From the information that I've seen and the actual information that is taking place in the cities that they've completed, yes.
Is this the same program that Tunica?
Yes, it's called a company Path, and you know, they started talking to me about 2 years ago, and I told them, we had a very good conversation. I said, I don't want to be the guinea pig. They told me some other cities they were working with, and I asked them, please come back when you've completed some projects with some other cities, because I didn't want to be the first. But now that they have, and the data is out there, where it's saving cities hundreds of thousands of dollars, you know, I've asked them, I've sent them information on our city, and they're supposed to be putting together a proposal. But as Mr. Stephen and I said in the meeting, we have hometown relationships with Entergy, and we don't want to, you know, upset Entergy, but we do want to be wise stewards of the taxpayers' dollars, and if this will save the city, you know, we want to look at that. So they have completed that, and he did come back and call me like I asked him to, and we see actual data of how it's saving cities.
Thank you, sir. And I should have announced, and I beg your pardon, the DeSoto County Board of Supervisors and the DeSoto County Tax Collector, Mr. Joey Treadway, have moved the tag office from South Haven to down here in Horn Lake at Nail Road and Highway 51, the old bank building, and hope it's more convenient for our citizens and for other people living in the county. We're proud to have it here in Horn Lake now. Mr. Glenn, did you, Alderman Klein?
Well, it brings to my mind is, if they install them, will Energy maintain them?
Now, the program is set up to where this company would maintain them also, but it's still, in the data that they have presented in working with other cities, it is cheaper to go through them, and they can get those crews out there quickly. Sanitobia has been pleased. The mayor in Sanitobia is trying to get them to commit on some other projects too. He's liked how this program has gone so well that he's trying to get them to take over and manage some other projects. They do other type of things too, but the street lights is what they are known for.
Mr. Glenn, good evening, sir.
Mr. Mayor,
Excuse me, Alderman Dupree.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Over on Chickasaw, the new paving, they cut a big square out, and they got a orange barrel in the middle of it. Do you know what that's about? And when they're gonna fix it?
No, sir, I don't know specifically, but it's probably gonna be an area where they ran across and it didn't load test properly, so they had to cut it out, repair.
It's been quite some time.
Yeah.
Maybe, can you check on that?
Yeah, I will. It's,
Vince, I believe it's where they did a manhole repair, right there, and they just haven't come back and
Yeah.
put anything around where they did the repair yet, is what I believe that is.
I'll double check on it.
Yeah, because it's been quite some time, so if you.
Been a few weeks.
check into that. That's all. Thank you, Mayor.
Good evening again, Mr. Glenn.
Good evening.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Fine. Do you have anything for the board, Mr. Glenn?
Actually, yes. Just want to say that we've made it to 2024. I'm really very happy and thankful for everyone's partnership from 2023, and I just feel like we will be very successful, all working together like we always do. But I also wanted to add that we have some great news. The animal shelter has took off running for this year. I want to announce that on January 10th, we are scheduled to be on WREG with a couple of our pets,
Wonderful.
advertising for adoption. Also, we've joined a company called Shelters United, which is going to talk to all of our vendors and get us better prices for everything. They are getting themselves established. They're working with all municipalities, and we have just completed joining them. We spoke to the Humane Society of the United States. They are also in regular conversations with me on how they can aid us and get us some of the things that we need for our pets. And last but not least, I have just had a meeting with a young entrepreneur who is embarking on streaming, TV streaming, much like Netflix or Hulu. He is starting his own company, and he is having 3 pilot shows that he wants to start when he starts this streaming. And he wants us to be one of the shows, a documentary about working in an animal shelter, about the inner workings of an animal shelter. It's really exciting because that's never been done. All animal shows are usually from the field perspective, talking about law enforcement, cruelty, and things of that nature. So this would be the first time that America will have the ability, in the world for that matter, will have the ability to really see what happens inside of an animal shelter and how things work. And it can kind of put us all on the same page, so we see how decisions are made and all of the trials and tribulations that the staff has to face. There was a question about 2 things that we did last year, that we accomplished last year. And I just think that we improved our herd health drastically by providing more services. We've had better adoption rates in the last year. So I think that there's been a lot of improvement. The shelter has been cleaned up, and it actually smells nice.
Very
It's like pets. And I also wanted to just say this about Ms. Carter. I met Ms. Carter at Shadow Oaks Elementary. I had seen her here before, but she was so influential when we went to the school. As you know, I started a mascot for the animal shelter, Fozzie the Fox. But something amazing happened when I was at Shadow Oaks Elementary. I went there for the Christmas holidays to deliver kitty and doggy blankets to all the kids. And I went into the special needs room and spoke to all the children that were there. Some of them are considered nonverbals. And while I was there, a young man said thank you to me, and that was the first time he had ever spoke.
Wow.
So I just want to thank everybody for the partnership, because it's very motivational, and it's helped us to really accomplish a lot. So thank you, everyone.
We certainly thank you for your leadership and your enthusiasm, and you certainly look great as the fox going down through the. Anyone have any questions or comments? Alderman Dupree.
As far as the accomplishments that you've done, it's more than you can put on 5 pieces of paper. Thank you for that. Also, when I was down there visiting last week, you were speaking of a gentleman who has donated a lot to you. Can you speak of that?
Yes, thank you for reminding me, because I actually wrote him down here. Mr. Robert Sluss, he is the CEO of Peak Spectrum, He and I spoke very, very briefly, and the next thing I knew, he was at our animal shelter. This gentleman has come several times, including over the holidays, to just do staff appreciation. But even more so, he single-handedly provided straw and pallets for every single dog that is outside in our yard, in our runs, in our outside runs. He actually went as far as to get 2 of his staff members who he was paying to come in and install that straw and those pallets. And so because of Mr. Robert Sluss, all of our animals are comfortable, and it took little to no effort on our behalf because we had assistance from the community. The CEO has come more than once, again, with complete pallets of straw, and his guys have worked with us probably 4 days in total when we add it all up. And so we do want to show a tremendous, tremendous appreciation to Mr. Robert Sluss, CEO of Peak Spectrum, for his aid and assistance and his dedication and his generosity. We really appreciate him. And all of our animals are safe and warm, and he had a lot to do with that.
Thank you, and thank you. How do you spell his last name, sir?
Sluss, it's going to be S-L-U-S-S.
S-L-U-S-S.
Mr. Mayor.
Well, please extend to him our most heartfelt gratitude, and to all your volunteers and to your staff down there, and to you too, Mr.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Anyone have any comments or questions? Alderman Young.
Mr. Glenn,
Yes, sir.
you're being humble.
Yeah.
You're being very humble. You have adopted, you and your crew and your volunteers have adopted more dogs out of that animal shelter since you've been there than I think it's ever been there since I've known about it. You've got more dogs chipped. You've got cats. You're controlling your budget. You've had more adoption events throughout the county and this city than anybody that I've known of that's worked down there. You and your staff are doing an amazing job. And it does get noticed. It does get noticed. You're an awesome individual. Everybody working down there is an awesome individual. Sometimes when you spray that stuff down the drain and you have to go in and clean it, and you just think nobody's noticing. We notice.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Alderman Dupree.
Nothing, sir.
All right. Anyone else? All right. Mr. Andrew, do you have anything for the board tonight, sir?
No, sir. Just that there's a couple things that the planning department is very excited about, and a couple things that we are proud of over the past year. One of which is that we're finally putting ourselves in a position to take a lot of environmental issues seriously in the city. One of my biggest goals is to really make us truly one of the greenest cities across the country. And so with a lot of the things coming in the comprehensive plan, and with hiring a new stormwater planner, with talking to our comprehensive plan people about putting in things about green infrastructure, pollution control, erosion issues, water pollution, trash, a bigger focus on having a city not only just a walkable, pleasant place to be, but a place where we can be proud of and show the rest of the country that we can really fight anything dealing with pollution, climate change, whatever it may be. We do call ourselves the greenest city in Mississippi, and I don't think we're there yet, but this coming year, we can really, really call ourselves the greenest city in Mississippi when it's all said and done. So we're really excited about that. We've got some things that we are going to start talking about with the Planning Commission on pollution control and water issues. So be on the lookout for that. And then the other thing that we're really proud of is we've been putting ourselves in a position to, I think for the first time, be the closest we've ever been to actually having a downtown in Horn Lake. It takes a lot of slow, cautious work, but we will have a downtown, and we are going to have a main street or town square or just a central meeting place. And so this is what's keeping us very hopeful in the planning department. And we set ourselves up for a good year to come, so we're looking forward to it.
Thank you, sir. Does anyone have any comments for Mr. Andrew? Mr. Alderman Bledsoe.
Andrew, I said something about that street being blocked on Thomas right there where that, new subdivision is. Oh, excuse me. New subdivision is. Have you checked into that to see why they still got that blocked? Cause they got people living in there and the fire trucks and stuff. If they come that way, it's blocked. And I don't see any reason why it should be blocked.
The last time I checked on that, the answer I got was that it was, they have not finished building, and so they were calling it a safety issue, just a extra precaution, but at this point, I'll check on it again. I'll check on that again.
Well, if it's a safety thing, then you got people living there, and if the ambulance or a fire truck can't get there, I think that's a bigger safety issue.
That's also a very valid point.
Anyone else? Mr. Robinson, you have anything for the board, sir?
Not at this time, Mayor, but if I may share two things. I would like to share that for 2 years, I have tried to get the City Hall renovation proposed, and we've always had to pull back because of budget reasons, and now we are accomplishing that. We still have a long ways to go, because in every area that has been partially touched, there's still areas that obviously you can see, one wall isn't finished in here. The color of this backwood is going to be changed, so there's still things in here. There's still things on our side. Court is back, and all Ms. Tara's staff is back in there, but there's still a lot of things in there. But accomplishing getting City Hall renovated, everything in here is 23 years old, and it was time to get rid of the old and bring in some new. So we're excited about this. There's still a lot to do on PD side, but you all did approve that change order. Thank you, Mr. Tommy. For the police department, that is for the 2 new rooms that the evidence room is going to exit out of, and that's going to improve their functionality so much better. And another second thing, I guess, is attributed not just really to all the staff. Every year at budget time, it seems like I get a lot of heat, and people are upset at me a lot at budget time, but we have been able to, and I appreciate the mayor. The mayor is conservative when it comes to the finances, and we try to not do a whole lot of growth and overestimate ourselves. And over the years that I have been here, I was sharing with some folks today that we have, with our conservative budgeting and been able to restructure some things. We had one bond rolled off in 23, another one, or 22, another bond rolled off this past year in 23, and we have another bond in 24 that rolls off. So the past 3 years, in the way we've structured things financially, we're becoming stronger by rolling off some of our debt. There are 3 bonds after this year in '24 that will be off the books. We still have the Series 25, and then we took on the street bond, which was our Series 2019, the street bond that you all approved. And then we just took on the city renovation bond. So we will still have 3 bonds that are active and working. But we are being good stewards of the taxpayer dollars.
Thank you for all your hard work, Mr. Jim. I know you sit there, sweat and strain and worry, and certainly thank you for all your hard work. Does anyone have any questions or comments? Alderman Bledsoe.
Mr. Jim, did we lose any chairs? Looks a lot smaller.
We do have a few less chairs, chairs that are bolted down. We did go back farther with the rows. If you remember, we did have a lot of loose chairs that we are going to get some similar matching chairs that we can pull in here along the side. But as far as the number of chairs that were in this room, it did go down a little bit, but we don't have any of the loose chairs that go all over the place at this point. But we are looking at getting some additional chairs, so we will have those when we have huge board meetings and court.
Well, you got a place now, they can roll the wheelchairs so they can get in. Before, I don't think they could get down through there.
Are these seats comfortable, Mr. Francis?
Absolutely not. That's good.
That encourages a shorter board meeting, Mr.
You have to bring your pillow.
Anyone else have any questions or comments for Mr. Jim? All right. Mr. Campbell, do you have anything for the board, sir?
I don't, Mr. Mayor.
Anyone have any questions or comments for Mr. Campbell? Do we have a motion to go into executive session? No, wait, excuse me. Do we have a motion for closed determination?
Mayor, I make a motion to go into closed determination.
We have a motion by Alderman Geist. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by
Dupree.
Alderman Bostic.
I never get a recognition.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Nay.
Aye.
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 Nay.
Aye.
Was that a nay? Was that a nay from Alderman Bledsoe?
Yes, sir.
All right. Motion passes 5 in favor, 2 opposed. If y'all will excuse us, ladies and gentlemen.
I make a motion to come out of closed to terminate.
We have a motion by Alderman Bostic. Do we have a second? Second by Alderman Dupree. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Aye.
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 Motion carries 7 in favor, none opposed. Do we have a motion to go into executive session?
Mayor,
Alderman Bostic.
make a motion to go into the executive session for personnel matters in the Public Works Department.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Klein. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Hey.
Aye.
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 Alderman Klein was a,
Bledsoe. Aye.
aye. Motion carries 6 in favor, 1 opposed. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would excuse us for a moment, please. Mr. Box, you might want to be ambling. After we talk a minute, they're going to want you. Do we have a motion to come out of executive session?
Mayor,
Alderman Geis.
make a motion to come out of executive session.
Do we have a second? Second by Alderman Bledsoe. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Aye.
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 Motion carries 7 in favor, none opposed. Do we have any motion coming out of the executive session?
Mayor,
Alderman Geis.
I make a motion to approve the recommendation for an 80-hour suspension without pay and 1-year probation for employee number 500 for violation of personnel policy number 701, employee conduct and work rules, unsatisfactory performance number 505, vehicle fleet safety policy item G, and number 701.1-11, gross misconduct on or off duty.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Geis. We have a second by Alderman Klein. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Mayor,
Well, excuse me, please. Mr. Campbell.
we may need to double check that employee number on the agenda, because in the packet, in the write-up, it was 599. Is anybody here that, do you know? Mr. Mayor, we'll just make if you, just so the board's aware, we may correct that to 599 if it's not 500.
Is that good? Is the second good, Alderman Klein? Yes. All right. We have a motion, we have a second. Any more discussion? Roll call, please.
Aye.
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 Motion carries 7 in favor. There being no other business before this honorable board, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Mayor, I make a motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn by Alderman Bostic. Do we have a second? Second by Alderman Dupree. Do we have any discussion? Roll call, please.
Aye.
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 Motion carries